Hello, you've caught me, as you will probably catch me for the next month or so, steadily working my way towards the Platinum Trophy in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Oh, Oxide, you wily, short-cutting, ultimate sacred fire-abusing, almost impossible to beat ghost-laying pain in the backside, you. Some of your times I can beat no problem. Others I can be trying goodness knows how many times before I finally come out on top. I'm at that stage of the game where all the easy stuff is done, you know, it's just me against Oxide's ghosts with all the patience I can muster. But actually, the first entry on this list of 7 bosses that must have killed us at least 50 times isn't Oxide's ghosts, because they're not bosses technically, but Oxide himself at the end of adventure mode. And before we're all like, ha, he's really easy, what a noob, I'm not talking about the first time. I'm talking about when you have to race him again to polish off that 100% completion stat. I actually beat him first time, believe it or not, when I was just polishing off the story mode. You know, I got ahead of him on the first couple of turns and somehow just stayed there. But for some reason, after going back and earning all the gems, relics and CTR tokens, the second race against Oxide took me forever. I don't know if he ups his game for this race, whether I just got super lucky on my first time round, but my god, I was there for hours. Oh man, I was furious, like absolutely livid with Oxide by the end of it. Honestly, I never want to see another red potion or bomb or crate of nitro ever again. The problem with this boss is, if you fall behind him at any stage, and as soon as you make any kind of mistake, you probably will, you've got to navigate not just the track, but all his traps as well. And the potions are the worst, because he chucks out 2 at a time, and of course, if you hit one, you lose whatever weapon you had primed and ready to send rocketing up his exhaust. I naively thought, as it approached my bedtime with me at 99% completion, I'll just knock Oxide on the head nice and quick, and then go off to bed. 2 hours later, I was still there, hitting potions, spinning helplessly over the drops, and then it gets to the point where you just quit and start again because you know there's no way you're winning from this far behind on lap 2. Eventually, I beat him by racing slow. You know, I didn't go power slide boosting into all his potions, instead carefully picking my way through his colourful minefield of infinite booby traps until I could line up a rocket or a bomb, and then, boom, I made my move. Thank God that's over now, is all I can say, and I can just relax with trying to beat his time of 1 minute 34 seconds .62 on Dragon Mines. Entry 2 is an optional boss from Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, the Demon of Hatred. Now, if it's optional, why did you spend over 50 attempts trying to beat the flipping thing, is the question I'm sure most of you are asking, and the answer is I would totally have given up, of course, but this wasn't me playing it, it was Nathan, and so naturally he fought the thing, and fought it, and fought it, and died, 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 and then eventually won, because that's how Nathan plays video games. Have you ever seen that episode of Doctor Who where the Doctor punches a wall made of diamond, I think it is, repeatedly over the course of billions of years until finally breaking through? Yeah, that's Nathan playing Sekiro. This boss is a real nightmare, just a writhing mass of fire and arms. One of those bosses that moves way quicker than its size suggests it can, jumping, reaching and diving, and then stomping on you if you get too close. And you have to perform 3 death blows on him as well. Not to mention his posture, which takes ages to break, and his hits, which do loads of damage. Yeah, there are many bosses from Sekiro we could have put in this list, but the Demon of Hatred gets the nod for killing us more times than we can count, basically. Our third entry is Sigrun, the Valkyrie Queen from God of War. Now, all the Valkyries are tough to beat, but Sigrun is the one that will most likely break you. And you've got to respect the fact there's no real secret or special strategy you need to employ beyond being really, really focused and good at the game. We made a Friday feature a while back about the 7 stages you will go through during a tough boss fight, and it totally applies to Sigrun. You'll probably have a good go at first, get her down to half health, think, yeah, I'm doing all right here, but you'll die, and then die, and die, and die again. There'll probably be a run where you nearly beat her, and then get too greedy with the attack button, abandoning the considered defensive style that served you well up until this point, and open yourself up for a one-hit ticket to Game Overville. And that's when it starts to slip. You get desperate, and the defeats begin to just pour in. It's like Sigrun has breached your mental defenses, and all of a sudden you can't do anything against her. One hit death, again and again and again. And before you know it, she's owned you 50, 70, 100 times, and you're on the floor, a complete mess, barely able to make Kratos walk forward, let alone skillfully evade a divine Norse warrior for however long it takes to beat her into submission. What will probably happen then is you'll go to bed, wake up the next morning, and smash Sigrun on your first go. Still, the score is about 1 versus 75, isn't it? She totally deserves her place on this list. Entry 4 is Spectre from Ape Escape 2, and you can laugh all you like, but knocking this damn primate off his perch is not easy, okay? First of all, you have to contend with his attacks, which require very precise timing to dodge, and then you have to knock him off his hover thing, and this is the bit that for some reason is just really hard to handle. He runs about really fast. I mean, that's it, to be fair, and all you have to do is clobber him while he's on the floor. But have you tried doing this when you're on a run of 10 game overs and you've got the adrenaline going and you're making silly mistakes and oh no, you've missed your chance, he's back up on his hovercraft, dodge this, dodge that, oh no wait, he's hit you, game over again. You can easily find yourself in a rut with bosses like Spectre. He plays on your mind. The apparent simplicity of what you've got to do, dodge, knock him down, hit him, repeat, sort of makes you fumble like you've been set up for an open goal and you're dream running, your feet made of sponge, unable to convert the simplest of chances. Spectre reminds me a little bit of Cortex at the end of Crash Bandicoot Warped. Literally the hardest bit of that fight for me was after you'd done all the dodging and knocked him off his perch, when all you had to do was knock him down the hole in the middle. It's the pressure. It gets to you, doesn't it? You're there imagining all your friends like, you can't even beat Spectre in Ape Escape 2, trollolololol, and all of a sudden you've lost 50 times. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to cheat a little bit with entry number 5, because it's the alien in Alien Isolation. And I know it's not a boss, technically, it's not there to be fought, you're supposed to avoid the thing at all costs, but I reckon you could describe it as like this omnipresent perma-boss that's always there, lurking in the background, like a predatory mobile fail state with umpteen sets of teeth that's constantly hunting you down while you perform tasks like picking up items, turning the lights on, and saving the game very deliberately slowly. And it's inevitable, at least on your first run through, that the alien will find you and kill you. I mean, most of the time it's instant game over, isn't it? Unless you've got, I don't know, some alien repellent bat spray on hand to shoo it off. But yeah, the amount of times I got killed by that damn xenomorph doesn't bear thinking about. Sometimes it beats you just through the tension created by its presence. I mean, I know I'm a massive coward with these types of things, but often I just run into it on purpose because I couldn't take the terror a second longer. Oh man, that game is so good. Literally, they made an Alien game too good, and I just can't handle it. I'll hold my hands up and admit I still haven't finished it either, so technically the alien's kill count of 50-ish to 0 is still ongoing. Entry 6 is the obligatory boss video Bloodborne entry, and I ummed and ahed about this for a while. Really, I should have gone for the Orphan of Kos, a vile, screaming hell baby that slithers into the world and immediately starts swinging for you with its way too sharp umbilical bits. You know when someone shows you a picture of their newborn baby and you lie and you're like, oh, so beautiful. You know, I like to think I'm pretty good at that, but with this, flipping heck. To be fair, it's impressive this thing is immediately walking, let alone leaping about beating you to death out of sheer grief at its own hideous existence. but I'm not going for the Orphan of Kos here. I'm going for Father Gascoigne. I know some people will probably scoff at that and be all like, oh, Father Gascoigne, lol, I beat him on my first try. And I'm sure you did. Well done. I didn't though. I was there for about a day. And the sad thing is, there's no magic trick to beating Gascoigne. There's no eureka moment when you're like, oh, that's his weakness. No, you just have to beat him. And I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. On the plus side, I did get really good at that little portion of the game just before you fight Father Gascoigne. And tried and tried and tried until eventually, through sheer dumb luck, I won. I don't know how or why. All I can say is that I was in this kind of numb state of determined repetition, and all of a sudden I wasn't. It was over. There was no elation for me, no raucous celebration like there often is after beating a From Software boss. Just a quiet acceptance that, I've done that now. That took a fair few goes, didn't it? Our final entry this week is Sephiroth from Kingdom Hearts, the Olympus Coliseum's platinum match. Lots of people found it harder to beat him in Kingdom Hearts 2, but for me, this is the fight I still occasionally have sweaty night terrors over. Good lord, he was hard. I remember fighting him the first time when I was way under level, just to see what was what. He literally did me in less than a second, swooping over, one swipe of the Masamune, game over. It was then I knew we were in for a rough ride. I went back every 10 levels or so just to see if I was improving. I wasn't. In fact, I reckon Sephiroth beat me 50 times before I even made a visible dent in his life bar. Then when I got good enough and the fight got serious, flipping heck, the concentration levels you need to win are just unreal. He does that Sin's Harvest move, undodgeable. You can attack him to stop him doing it, but if you don't get to him quick enough and you're left with one hit point and he's right there, yeah, game over, number something hundred and something. This is such a cool fight though, like battling a divinely powerful and perpetually bad-tempered piece of fan service while an epic arrangement of one-winged angels swirls around your ears. Maybe I didn't want this to end. Maybe that's why I lost so many times, because I couldn't face the thought of not being able to experience this fight again. No, it was because he was really hard. And there we go, 7 bosses that must have killed us at least 50 times. Let us know in the comments what your picks would be. Like this video if any in this list have caused you similar trouble. And don't forget to click that notification bell to stay up to date with everything we make. Thanks for watching and see you next week for another Friday feature.
For the players.